All right, happy Monday, everyone. We have a leg day today, lower body strength and core today. So we, for equipment, are going to be using this here chair. We're going to be doing some hip thrusts, some split squats. In addition to the chair, I have my 8-pound dumbbells tucked underneath there and my 2 loop bands. Besides that, we're using our body and our mat, and you do not need to wear shoes if you don't want to, because we are not doing anything that requires jumping. Okay, let's get it started. We're going to lay on our back and start this off with some warm-up moves that are going to loosen us up, warm us up, starting with our lower back and our hips. So you can join me here on the floor, laying all the way, I'm tucking all the way on your back. You're going to lift up one leg, grab that knee with opposite hand. Exhale as we pull this knee all the way over, see if we can get it onto the floor. And then we won't spend any time there, just touch the floor, come back up, and then we will do the other side, going through 10 of these total. Now, if you're like me, you might have to kind of switch away from the wall a little bit so you have a bit more room. And we will, again, exhale as we go down, seeing if we can get that knee to touch the floor as we go through our reps. So we'll go through 10 of these. Again, really trying to use your breath, your exhale, to see if we can get that knee down. You've got it going on. All right, we got a couple more happening in. What's up? Good morning, girl. Come on in. We are on the floor. Okay, so we're starting off with these rotations, laying on our back, right side, and then left side, grabbing knee with opposite hand. We're going through 10 of these total. Once we're done 10 of these, we're sitting up into our 90 and 90s. So 90 degrees at both knees. We want the bottom of the foot in line with the shin. We'll lock both of our feet in place and see if we can flip the knees over. We've been here before. We actually should be getting more comfortable in this 90-90 position, in theory. Eventually being able to do this without the use of the arms and the hands, just having them lifted up in front of us like this. So we'll flip-flop 10 times total, 5 to each way. 5, there we go. These ones feel nice, but they should be comfortable. So if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling a little bit tight, pinchy, then you can lean back a little bit, put your hands down if you need to. Once you're done 10, we're going to pause on one side. You can stack up your arms in front of you, and we'll take our hips and try to turn our hips towards the leg with the outside of the leg facing down. And so we'll turn our body, turn our hips, and then stack your arms and shoulders, and then we're going to rotate through the torso and try to get our shoulders now in line with this leg, and we'll do that twice. Rotate all the way over, trying to breathe into that, and then again you can flip over your legs, and we'll do this now on the other side. So as we're doing this, we're trying to see if we can get both of our butt cheeks on the floor, both of our hips on the floor, and again, moving just through this part of our body, through the torso. So we'll go 2 rotations, and then you guys can stand it up to the top, and come and join me at the very front of your mat. We're going to stand hip width apart, hands down by our sides. We'll step back into a lunge, a little bit of bounce there, and reach both of our arms above our head, counting out 10 of these total, 5 per side. Just normal, straight arms, reaching up into that lunge, 10 of them. Once we're done 10, we're going to add in a rotation to the next 10. And so we'll take 1 rotation in towards that knee at the bottom of each rep, 1, and then we'll go through 10 of these total now, 5 per side. Let's do it, let's get it, you got it. Okay. And what do we get up next? Yes! Okay. There they are. All right, so strong arms, straight arms, you've got it going on. 10 of them just normal, and then 10 with that 1 turn in towards the knee. And so we'll get going through those ones. Very nice. Okay, so the next one that you guys are going to go through is our hip loaded step through. So this is one that we should have mastered by now, because we do it almost every week, because it is one of my favorite, most effective glute activation exercises. So that's what the focus is going to be right here. We're going to shift all of our weight onto one of the legs, soften out that leg, soften out the knee, stand with nice posture, and then just hinge our hips or send our hips back behind us. Wherever this foot ends up, We should feel loaded up in this leg, and then we'll pull the hips forward. So we're pushing the hips back, and then we'll pull those hips forward, and we'll get you guys going through 15 of these per side. And so we're pushing the hips back, pulling them forward, rather than thinking about bringing our body down. We're trying to stick our butt out, and you should feel loaded up in your backside because you're thinking about it more, and because we're doing 15. Okay, so we'll get through 15 on this side, and then we'll take that and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Eventually you can line up your opposite arms. Okay, but the most important thing is what's happening with your lower body, your legs, your glutes, and the arms will come eventually. All right. Yes, yes. All right, so we have one more for our activation, which is about our core. You guys are going to lay on your back, and we have a dead bug, just a standard dead bug today. So once you're done 15 and 15 up there, we're going to come onto our back like this, 90 degrees at our knees. Arms are lifted right out of our shoulders, keeping them straight. We're going to lower opposite arm and opposite leg, right arm, left leg, and then switch, left arm, right leg, while the whole time pushing our back down and keeping that in full contact with the floor. So we're counting out 20 total, alternating 10 per side, really tapping into that coordination. Eventually you can do this straightening out your leg, okay, but most important is keeping your back down. So that needs to come first, and then you can work into that straight leg in time. Okay, so we'll go through 20 of those. Should be feeling all sorts of stuff in the core. Okay, you guys can take your time with that one. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, and we will go through 20. So yes, this one is coordination, city, coordination 101. This one is surprisingly really challenging on your brain, and the body, of course, but more so what you're doing to connect your limbs. These two, we do not want them to move, okay? And they're going to want to move. It's called a dead bug. I know it feels like a dead bug, but we do want to really control these opposites. So watch yourself, check yourself, and make sure that they are staying still. Okay, we got 20. And then we are going to start you guys off. So we'll get this done. Once you're finished, you can grab some water and stand yourself up and grab your equipment. Okay. Nice work, you guys. So let's do our thing, going through those. Okay, 20 of them should be warm. Once you're done that, once you're finished, we're going to stand up and talk about our first exercise, or exercises, I should say. We have two movements going on here. The first one is going to be a front-loaded goblet squat. So you guys are going to be holding your dumbbells in the front here, holding them like this. Going through these squats, we're working with 15 reps of them. And we're also going to need our loop bands close, because we're pairing this with our banded side steps, where I'm going to take my loop band, this guy right here, and put it around my heels and side step my way down and back to my mat, which we are going to talk about after we're finished our first set of squats. Okay, but I want to tell you so that you had your bands close, because you are going to need them. So let's grab onto our weights. We are going to start our first official set. I'm going to use both of these 8-pound dumbbells and hold them up here, not resting them on my chest, but they are right in front of me here. My feet are a little wider than my hips, and I have a slight angle out in my toes. We're going to sit down to 90 degrees while pushing our knees out to the sides, and then stand all the way up, counting 15 of them for this first set. So we'll go through at a normal tempo, 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. But you guys know the drill. If you want to make these harder, we can pause at the bottom. Okay, you can slow the down, lowering phase down. And those are two ways that are going to make these 15 reps feel a lot more challenging. Okay, but if you want to go normal tempo for this first set, just feel it out, that's okay. Because you know that you are going to do more, specifically 3 more after this one. Okay, we're going through 4 rounds of this total. So 15 of them. Ooh, should be feeling them. Okay, maybe not the most challenging thing in the world. Think about how you feel. You will have to do this 3 more times. You do not want to be thinking by the end of this 15, like, I could keep going, I could do 20. Okay, that's not what you should be feeling. You should feel like you really need to put your weights down, okay? So we'll go into this one that we're pairing it with, which is our side steps. And take this band and put it around my heels, just about the ankle bones like this. And I'll come over to one side of my mat, standing hip width apart. Soft knees, same hip hinge as that hip floated step through that we did. So we want to push our butt back and load up our hips. And then I'm going to step wider and then hip width. Wider, hip width. And we're going down the length of our mat and back 2 times. So we'll come to the end, and then I'll sidestep my way all the way back. The whole entire time I'm trying to stick my hips behind me rather than bend my knees forward. Okay, so we'll get going through those. Got one more happening here. There it is. See, Bobby's happening. Good morning, Bobby. All right, so we're going through these side steps. Again, trying to keep our feet parallel, facing forward. Get hips back behind us. You can keep your arms in front of you. 2 times there and back. And then once you're done, woo, we're going to take about 30 seconds of rest, shaking out the legs, and then go through our second, third, and fourth set of these 2. Okay, so once you're finished the side steps, you're going to be feeling lots of stuff in the sides of your hips. The squats and these side steps, they do work similar muscles, which is why we are going to take this little bout of rest here. Trying to keep it under a minute. We have about 30 to 45 seconds though. And again, you can just grab some water. And then when you are feeling ready, we'll go into our second set. So again, we're back starting off with these squats, going through 15 reps, down to 90 degrees, standing all the way up, keeping those weights in front of us, but not resting on our chest. And you can go through 15. Now, for those of you who do not have dumbbells, or maybe you have dumbbells, but you do want to crank it up a notch to make them a little harder, okay, without necessarily pausing, we can add bands around the knees like this. Okay, that's going to give us that resistance pulling the knees in, which makes us use more around the hips to keep the knees out. So that is an option with or without the dumbbells, okay? So we'll go through our second set, 15 of them. Let's do it. We got it. Okay. There they are. All right, so I'm going through now again, once we finish the squats, we go right into the side steps. We're only taking that rest when we're finished. Now, for those of you who do not have bands, we can do this without the band, okay? It's definitely much more effective with the band because we have that sideways tension working against our hips. But if you don't have a band, because you just don't have one, you can still do this and just really think about feeling loaded up in the back of your hips, feeling those muscles are tight, and then stepping and working into them, okay? Another way to do this, and I want to show this to you because I know lots of us have this as an option, is using like a long band, a little bit thin like this. It can be the one with the handles or a looped across one like this, and we can stand on it, like in the middle of our foot. And then depending on how long it is, you can either cross it over or just keep it like this. And then we can step, we can step and do the side steps like this, okay? So if you're ever without loop band and you only have long bands, this is a really great way to do this side step. All right, second set, let's get it. All right, so again, once you are finished that second set of those side steps, you are resting, okay, which could be sitting, it could be standing, whatever you want to do, grabbing water, okay? We have 2 more rounds, and then we are moving on from these 2. Okay. So we'll get going into our third set. And once we're finished our little bit of rest, which we feel like we need, we'll get our third set in. And optional if you want to have this band on, the dumbbells in your hands. Ideally, we want something weighted so we can hold in our hands. Okay, and we'll go through our third set of 15. Oh yes. So 90 degrees is the goal. You getting your knee bent down to 90 degrees. But if you have some pre-existing knee issues and or reasons why you shouldn't be squatting that low, don't sit that low, okay? You don't necessarily have to, You can just think about those other things to make it more challenging, like slowing down or pausing at the bottom, no matter what your depth is, okay? But 90 degrees is the goal if you have no reason not to be. You know yourself, okay?